This is Speakers of Idleness. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, the most blaring detail was the dancer. I think it's a dancer. It looks like a dancer, and it was a hot potato for a lot of people. Some people were convinced that we were getting a dancer. Me personally, I didn't really think they'd go there, but then they did, fighting our beloved Derplander, and now actually looking a bit different, having his hair cut, looking more like a monk, wearing monk attire with like a tattoo shit. Mm. It's like the gear with the tattoo. I can't remember the name of it. Arachne, I think, something. Obviously, fighting on Ralger's Reach is the name of the area that they were fighting in. We know now. The next important part is the shirt Yoshi P was wearing, and that was clearly referencing red shit. When someone is making an effort on wearing a shirt that references something red,
and obviously referencing Scarlet Witch,
yes, that has to be Red Mage. And even if he is trolling, that's a very mean troll because he's been saying Red Mage like forever. And if we're not getting a Red Mage now, I'm gonna get really disappointed. I have a feeling we're not getting Samurai, someone said in chat. That's a good point. I kind of forgot Samurai in all this.
But we're still missing at least 2 jobs.
We are. So. We are. I'm almost 100% sure that was a dancer we saw there. The gear she was wearing is very reminiscent of a dancer.
But now that dancer is officially implemented...
well, let's not say officially yet.
Okay,
but
technically
theoretically,
implemented in as DPS, Samurai can be confirmed as a tank class.
Too early to say. Samurai could be a DPS as well. It's been used as...
They will probably implement class for each role, right? Like they did in Heaven's Word. Like they had 2 DPS classes, 1 healer and 1 tank.
Yeah, they said multiple classes. However, I did notice the slide. Did you?
Was there 2 DPS classes in Heaven's Word?
No, 1.
Oh,
Machinist.
Yeah, probably gonna be 1 of each, I think.
Well,
so Red Mage would probably be a healer, right?
Alright, hold up for a sec here. What I was trying to say initially there, before Lonigan continuously interrupted me until I forgot about it, was that during the keynote, they showed a picture of 2 Hures, and that could suggest that we're only getting 2 jobs in the expansion. So keep that in mind. We didn't get to discuss it here, but that is an important thing to note. It could just mean nothing. It could just be random. But it is worth noting that they only showed 2 people on that particular slide when they talked about the new job. So, yeah, carry on.
Obviously, they're not going to show us all the jobs in this FanFest. So
they're not showing us any.
I mean, they didn't hint towards any tanks at all.
Still more than half a year to the release date.
That is true. Sadly, that's the sad truth. And we will most likely see the jobs in the next FanFest in Tokyo. Did you get the date, Orange? Do you remember when?
24 December, I think.
On Christmas.
No, 21st. I think it was 21st.
Let me.
21st was it?
Again.
21st it might be.
But I don't think they're gonna reveal.
No. It's 24. 24th.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Look at this.
On Christmas Eve.
That's stupid.
That's the weirdest date to have.
I have sent it to you.
Well, we're not gonna cover that live. That's for sure. What the fuck? How am I gonna? I'm not even gonna be near a computer at that point. Saturday, December the 24th is the Japanese live letter. We're not gonna cover that. I'm not gonna.
Also, the day I have to vote in Spain.
I have literally no internet connection at that point. We're gonna get reveal obviously in the Japanese one. That's where they show all the cool stuff without a translator.
These people celebrate Christmas.
They do, but they have a weird system. Let's not get into that. But they have like a best of both worlds situation going on. Anyway, let's move on. Level cap is being raised from 60 to 70.
Expected.
Expected, but something I forgot that was happening. Of course, just quickly there, no new race. So everyone who was hoping for a new race, we're not getting a new race. And I knew that, and that was probably expected by most people, that we're not going to get a race for every expansion. And I think maybe it's going to be a while until we get a new race.
Do you think there will be any mixed races between Garlean and something else? Since
why? Oh, because of Aluminium and but Garleans and
the
rest of the population isn't really that different. Like Hewers, they're not really that, except for what the disgusting eye in the middle. That would be the only change, though.
Do you think they're...
How would you see the difference? Oh, well, I guess if I'm Mikode, fucked Garlean.
but do you think there will be, like, Garleans? For example, if we do manage to, obviously that will happen, take Alamigo back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there will be any Garleans or anything on our side, or...?
That could happen. We would probably get some on our side. We're gonna get and I wanted this, like a high focus on the Garleans. I feel like we never really got to know them too well, except for the fact that they're being bastards and invading everything.
You started to get to know them a little bit in Realm Reborn, and then a lot of the lore there was actually a little bit concentrated around them and all the outposts that they had, or strongholds.
Yep.
And then suddenly it just shifted over towards Ashians and Ishgard and blah blah blah. So
we'll get to that. We were talking about the level cap first. Let's not track off. With that, they are also changing the skill system.
Yeah,
revamping it.
And
I was
erasing all skills.
They didn't say that specifically. They didn't say anything about removing specific skills.
As long as they don't
useless skills.
They said that they would what was their wording again? They would reevaluate skills that weren't used, or skills that were.
As long as they don't remove ethereal manipulation for Black Mage, I'm happy.
I don't think they'll remove.
I use that all the time.
They will not. They will not remove like rotation critical things.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't think they will remove.
But
I don't think every single class will have skills removed. He did talk about changing how you would see procs and cooldowns, but they would change the UI to make it easier to see when it pops or when it's off.
But they also said that same classes with the same role will have the same skills.
Same additional skills.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking about provoke and protect and.
You will. Okay, so the system, the way they've made it sound that they said during the keynote was, oh, Jesus. The system right now is like this: certain classes can share skills. Like
across roles.
Across roles, there's anarchy. It's weird. Like
there's no
take classes from
actions.
I mean actions or spells,
abilities, whatever.
From a. I think I can
Summoner?
take from
Summoner, of course.
Summoner. Arcanist
Black Mage.
and Black Mage. And although that makes some sense. But now it's going to be more role specific.
Mm-hmm.
So every tank can share. We don't know all the skills, but shareable skills.
From what they said, it sounded like there will be a range of additional skills available to tanks, for example, and then you could only choose a limited subset of that whole set of skills.
Yes, I believe.
And it will be the same for DPS and healers.
So kind of like a light skill tree.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Seeing as you sort of get like a pool of skills, and then you have to choose which skills you want. That's what I got from it.
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
not
what.
sure.
Yeah. That's what I think.
That also goes for healers and DPS.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take on it. So I'm looking forward to more pictures and explanation on
I think
that.
it's good because the way that it is now. I think they did it so that you would have to level up other classes and try other classes and stuff.
And I agree with you because there are some classes, especially the new ones, Astrologian and Dark Knight, that get benefited by getting the skills from, for instance, the Dark Knight gets Warrior and Paladin skills.
Yeah.
But the Paladin can get the Dark Knight skills.
Right.
So that's
So that's going to change now, obviously. So you'll actually be able to use Dark Knight skills as a paladin. What? You're laughing because I hit this?
Why did you?
Because I suddenly wanted to check if we were using the right microphone. Anyway, so that looks pretty neat, and of course we didn't get much information about it. Only confirmation that you don't have to worry about having your screen filled up with skills, and then having to decide which one to press with your very tiny Donald Trump hand.
Also, I will talk about the timer thing.
Also they did talk about they're going to change the timers on procs. I think I did mention it briefly.
By cooldowns and the changes to the UI and stuff.
Yeah, they're going to revamp the UIs to make it easier to see when it pops and when it goes off. So you don't have to look at the tiny icon on top of that. That's why he emphasized that. He felt like that was a bad design.
Actually, I agree, because lately I've been thinking about that when I've been playing that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit lame that you have to
I've never thought about it, but now that he just pointed it out, it's like,
especially since I'm a black mage, when I have to look at Enochian. When I have to look at that timer for Enochian, I'm like, why do I have to look at that small icon all the time? So what I try to do is try to have an internal clock in my head, so I don't have to look at that icon.
I think it benefits DPS classes because tanks and healers don't have really timers to control. Maybe Dark Knight, but I think DPS Dragoon, Black Mage, Monk, which have a lot of timers, are very, that's a very good addition.
Yeah, it is.
For the level from 60 to 70, you have to mention that there's going to be new gear. Well, that's obvious, but...
yeah, that's a very obvious thing, so I didn't even write it down. But there is new gear.
It's cool to mention, though, that some of the gear will actually be gear that won the contest.
Gear design contest that they had a couple of months ago.
So that's pretty cool.
I've seen that one. They posted it on Reddit a few months ago, and it looks badass. So kudos to whoever made that, because that's amazing.
I think they should try to do that more often.
Of course, it's a good idea, because the design department is like, oh yeah, fuck, here's a sketch.
There's a chef.
There's a chef outfit for White Mage. Okay, anyway, let's move on. They talked about new areas. They showed us some really nice art. I'm guessing this will be up on the Reddit, on Twitter, wherever. Look it up. Take a good look at it.
Do you think any of those areas was anywhere near Selpathol?
Good question. Didn't even think about it. Selpathol is a mountain range, so I would assume maybe somewhere...
The wall between Shroud and the new area, is that...
No, that's literally Shroud, just
maybe
transitioning over into the
forest area they showed. I mean,
they showed a forest area. Yes, there was like a
something
dark
that
forest.
Yeah, something that looked a little bit like a swamp.
Yeah, it did. Had some water shit going on there.
Water shit.
Some water shit. In A Realm Reborn and Heavensward, the stuff we've seen from the Garleans and their architecture is temporary and modern. It's not been there for long because they've recently invaded Eorzea, so it's all just very a lot of crates. When I think of Garlemald, I think about crates and gates and walls. But in Alamigo, they've been there for 20 years, and they are, in a way, almost absorbed Alamigo. So we're gonna get to see actual old, established Garlean architecture, and also
a mix.
Because when you stick around for a certain time, there will be a culture mix and architectures mix. So we'll be able to see some really new architecture there, which we saw some pictures of. Very Eastern Oriental style Alamigan versus the bit more... We didn't actually see any Garlean stuff there.
I think you saw this really old temple kind of thing?
Yeah, but I think that's Alamigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have temples. They don't have temples in Garlemald. Okay. They don't believe in icons. But from what I can think, they're probably more structured, more clean lines. I think that's more Garlean style. They're very... let's be honest, they are modeled after the Nazis. They are. Like, their whole goal is to, like, cleanse the world and just fill it with Garleans. So I think they're a bit more structured, and clash those together, and I think we'll see something pretty cool. Let's just move swiftly along. New primals. Exclusive Final Fantasy XIV primals promised, in addition to classic
Many
primals.
of them.
Many of them?
You said many twice.
Yeah, I said many. Many.
More.
New dungeons. No news there. They didn't say anything. They just said, obviously, we're getting new dungeons. And new raids. So that's where they changed it up a bit. They gave us some more info. They said that they were looking at the feedback they had received from Alexander, and they realized that
Coil and Alexander.
Well, he said specifically feedback from Alexander, because he talked about binding Coil Bahamut as a comparison, and in Coil you only had one difficulty. That was the raid, and that was the difficulty. It was raid difficulty.
Didn't Second Turn had a savage mode?
It did later, but that was added later, and that was sort of the savage. It's difficult. It's not the same as Alexander, because savage was added after the raid was cleared. That's when they sort of added that tier, and that's the stuff I think they might be looking at now, because they said that they would possibly add a normal dungeon on odd patch numbers, and a savage or a harder a harder raid on even patch numbers, whatever that means. If that's the same dungeon in a harder mode or a different raid entirely, we don't know. Yeah,
and I also mentioned that, or speculating, I think that they might add different stories.
Oh yeah, they might
for the normal mode, and then another story for the savage mode, or a little bit different.
They might be looking at 2 different raids, basically, with 2 different stories. Well, same raid, obviously, but with a different main story to go with it.
But I'm not too hyped for it, because I think it will be something like the extreme primals and hard primals, because they are a bit different.
Maybe, but there's no actual extra lore on the extreme primals. I mean, for me, personally, there has not been much incentive to do the savage mode, because there is no actual story for it. You just go in there and it's harder. With Coil, you had like a massive story arc spanning like the entire... Like, you felt like you were actually doing something. In Alex, I'm like in there and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? They're like, the fights are incredible in Alexander Creator, in my opinion. The story... still a bit weak compared to Coil. So I think they might be looking to...
Coil was epic.
They're trying to find a middle ground here, because like trying to make a new Coil is going to be very difficult, because Coil sort of had that backstory too, like a lot of nostalgia to it. So,
by the way, we didn't talk much about it right now, but you were mentioning a lot of new primals.
Yeah.
Which also hints towards new beast tribes.
Right. That means there are beast tribes in Alamigo, or so, close to.
Since you played 1.0, do you have any ideas towards
no idea
what it could be? Or?
Alamigo was never a big part. Was no part of 1.0.
Oh, okay.
You can't even see Alamigo
from speculation and rumors, or
I think it was mentioned.
Is there no established history about?
There was established history. There was lore. The lore that we know today stems from 1.0.
Did it ever mention any primals or?
No primals. The only thing we know is that the Garleans came, and we know that the Garleans hate beast tribes. So beast tribes on their soil, I don't know how that's going to work. But I'm guessing they're not going to be in the immediate surroundings of Alamigo. They might be in the outer areas, obviously. Of course, the biggest fucking news and bombshell that we sort of expected. I expected it. I was so sure that it was going to happen, but then started to doubt it a bit. First of all, they told us that they were going to raise the minimum stats. Sorry, the minimum requirements for minimum specs
for PC,
for
Windows.
For the Windows version. And that's when the alarm bells went off in my head, because they were based on the PS3, the minimum specs. So when he said that we can't have like Intel Duo,
I was trying to remember which processor was in PS3.
oh, I don't know what that is.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
An EMD.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, is it AMD? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
PS4 too.
first they said that they didn't want people to play on 32-bit operating systems. He thought that no one was playing on that anymore. The PS3 is a 32-bit system. And then he said they were still going to support 32-bit systems.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And that's when I sort of lost hope. And then they switched to the next slide, and there it is. End
Did you
of
remember
PS3
how
support.
the people yelled when
The crowd,
the PS3 thing?
the crowd went absolutely apeshit. I heard them for a split second before I lost my headphones in a fit of just joy.
So obviously, what they were saying was that they were still supporting Windows 32-bit systems.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But he said, we want you to switch as soon as possible to a 64-bit system.
That
There's
means
no
5.0.
reason.
But it was also so funny when I think he asked like who's playing on 32-bit or something, and it was like
There was
totally
dead
quiet.
silence. Because I think
Silence,
people in
yeah.
the crowd, they knew that PS3 was 32-bit, and everyone was like holding their breath. But then he said that they were going to support 32-bits. Did you hear the crowd? There was a few people in the crowd that thought that meant that they were going to continue PS3 support, and I heard them. And that's when my heart sank a bit, and then they did the reveal. And not only that, they are cutting, because I thought that if they're cutting support, then surely they're going to phase it out slowly. Not giving them the expansion, but rather sort of letting them play Heavensward and just keep going at that. But they said that the moment the 4.0 game is downloadable, the PS3 version ends. And you will not be able to play it at all. And that made me think that the reason they did that is because they're going to change the existing areas. Did none of you think about that?
I thought about flying mounts, for example, in the old areas.
But uniting lower and upper
for
Linsa.
example,
That's the dream.
That's obviously what they're gonna do. Isn't that
so?
obvious? Like, if they didn't do that, if they were just gonna leave the zones as they were, they could have just let the PS3 players play Heavensward and deny them entry into 4.0.
maybe they just kill it off because they don't want to invest any more money into.
There's nothing to invest. They could just they would still earn money.
Still, yeah, sure.
I guess. So I think they might be changing some zones. Maybe upgrading some shit. Maybe adding some shit. I think that they're gonna remove the zone borders in the main story. No, sorry, in the main cities. In the main story. That's my hope.
Only the cities, not the areas. I mean, the transitions between Middle and Australia to.
How powerful is the PS4? That's the question. How powerful is the PS4 capable of that? They would have to introduce the loading
you have some
tunnels.
massive role-playing games in the PS4 that
That's
has no
true.
zone dividers. So.
But are they as detailed as
I'd say it's possible, but they are really the ones who are making the content, so they will know better.
I think about it very easily. They could have just added like a custom render distance for PS4 so that stuff pop in at bigger zones. It wouldn't look as nice. They could have also put the classic render fog in front. That would probably look worse in wide shots, of course. They wouldn't be able to take these massive shots.
Remember that PS4 users can already switch between having better graphics and a lower FPS rate, and the opposite. So I don't think that they are adding more settings.
No, probably not. So we're stuck with how PS4 is running right now, which is significantly better than the PS3, mind you. So I think a PS4 would at least be able to run Limsa and upper and lower and Olda, the Steps of Thal and Null, and up and Old and New Gridania together in one zone. And Ishgard, well, that's a 3.0 area. That's a bit bigger than the others, but
if you can cross the bridge between Quarethus and Ishgard?
that would take a while because it's a pretty long bridge. That would be impossible, I think.
But with the fact that you can fly.
Flying in. See, that's the reason why you can't fly in the Kurth and Western Highlands, because Ishgard is not Ishgard. what you're looking at there is a low poly model that I've already, as if you watch my 1.0 playthroughs, I've already glitched through the map and walked across that bridge, and that bridge is nothing. It's just a picture that as closer you get, it just disappears. It's just nothing. Yeah. So flying to Ishgard, they would have to put Ishgard into the Western Highlands. So, thank you everyone for watching so far. Remember, we will be back with the Q&A, where we will try to give you all the questions and answers as they come. Yeah, so see you in a bit, guys.